Ever pondered why your personal space feels invaded, or why your time and energy seem drained continuously? Let's delve into a concept that's as simple as it is essential: personal boundaries. These are the invisible lines we draw around ourselves to maintain balance and protect our time, energy, and emotional space. They're the rules we set for ourselves and others about what's acceptable behavior and what's not. Without personal boundaries, we're like a city without walls, vulnerable to any invader. We might find ourselves feeling perpetually exhausted, harboring resentment, or feeling taken advantage of. This is because, without boundaries, we're allowing others to dictate how we spend our time and energy. Personal boundaries help us define who we are. They help us to understand and express our needs, desires, and limits. They're not about shutting people out or being aloof. No, understanding that setting boundaries is not about being selfish, but about self-preservation is the first step. So, how do you go about setting these life-enhancing boundaries? Well, let's break it down into 3 manageable steps. Firstly, identify the areas in your life where boundaries are needed. These could be anywhere from work, relationships, personal space, to social media usage. It's important to recognize where you're feeling drained, disrespected, or taken advantage of. It's in these areas that you need to create boundaries. Remember, if you're feeling discomfort in any aspect of your life, it's a clear sign that boundaries are being crossed or are non-existent. Secondly, define your limits. Now that you've identified your areas, it's time to define what is acceptable and what isn't. This is your personal blueprint, your rule book. It's okay to be specific and detailed. For instance, if it's about work, define your working hours and stick to them. If it's in a relationship, clearly state what behaviors you can tolerate and what you can't. This step is crucial because it sets the stage for what people can expect from you and how they can interact with you. Finally, communicate these boundaries effectively. This step can be challenging, but it's essential. You've got your blueprint, now it's time to share it. Let the people around you know about your boundaries in a calm, assertive, and respectful manner. Remember, you're not asking for permission, you're informing them. If they respect you, they'll respect your boundaries. Throughout this process, it's important to note that setting boundaries is not a one-off event. It's an ongoing process. Your boundaries might change with time and experience, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to stay aware of your comfort and discomfort and adjust your boundaries accordingly. Now, I want to clarify something. Boundaries are not walls. They're not meant to shut people out. They're guidelines for how others should interact with you. They're meant to protect your peace and respect. Remember, boundaries are not walls, but guidelines for how others should treat us. Now that you have the blueprint, are you ready to set your boundaries today? You've armed yourself with knowledge and tools, so now it's time to put them into action. Setting boundaries is not an easy task. It's a conscious choice you make every day. It's about asserting your needs and making room to thrive. However, you may encounter challenges. You might face resistance from others who are accustomed to your old ways of being. They may not understand your need for boundaries, or they might feel threatened by your newfound assertiveness. Remember, it's not your job to manage other people's reactions. Stay firm and remind them and yourself that your boundaries are about respecting your own needs and well-being. Another challenge could be feelings of guilt. You might worry that asserting your boundaries is selfish or unkind, but let's clear this up. Setting boundaries is neither of these things. It's about self-respect and self-care. You can't pour from an empty cup, and setting boundaries ensures your cup is always filled. The third challenge, consistency. It's easy to set boundaries in theory, but sticking to them in practice can be hard. You might feel the temptation to bend your boundaries to please others or avoid conflict. But remember, boundaries are not negotiable. They're a sign of self-respect and self-love. If you're struggling with consistency, remind yourself why you set these boundaries in the first place. Reflect on the benefits they bring to your life: peace, balance, and a sense of control. Overcoming these challenges may take time, but don't be discouraged. Start small, celebrate your wins, and be patient with yourself. You're not alone in this journey. Many have walked this path before you and have emerged stronger and happier. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, it's the key to a healthier and happier you. Embrace the discomfort, for it's a sign of growth, and with every boundary you set, you're one step closer to living a life that truly honors you.